Minister, as you began answering the questions, I started to smile because we have a history that is outside of this environment, and I know you. I must say I know you very well in terms of your keenness and how you approach certain issues. But I chuckle because last December, I think it was, when we were discussing the budget, 2017 budget, one of the things that you had indicated to Parliament was that that in the reality of government is that everyone operates in silos. That was the term that you used, and in order for us to be able to be disciplined budgetary-wise, we needed to come out of those little kingdoms that have been created and kind of follow one thread. And months later, you came back to Parliament and was proud and boasting of the fact that your budgets were balanced and everything was in order. There was a surplus, although I still believe that if you take 30 million or 33 million from one of the government-owned companies to cover government's expenses, and that income is incidental income, that the fact that is done to create a surplus of 6 million guilders means that without that 30 million plus, you would be running a deficit of at least 24 million. So, we differ in opinions on that because, again, it was proven today, an incidental income is not a structural revenue source. In your presentation, you indicated that GEBE and the airport now are faced with challenges where their concession fees and the same income that was taken from them last year, we can't touch for the next 2 to 3 years. So, that is just the times that we're faced with because of Irma. Also, it is very ironic to listen or to hear the fact that the Council of Ministers and the Minister of Finance operate in different realms. And I'm saying that because, if I'm not mistaken, if a minister or if a department requests to pay or engage in business with any third party on behalf of government, an advice must come from the Ministry of Finance for that. So it's hard for me to sit here and listen to, when it comes to decisions that have been made, that I wouldn't hear from the Minister of Finance stating that we have received the advice on such and such, and this was the issue of the Ministry of Finance. But what we're hearing is the buck is being passed. I ask this ministry, or I ask that minister, bring them to Parliament. And Minister, I tell you, we have tried, and outside of yourself, the Minister of Education and the Minister of VSA and the Prime Minister, the others are MIA, missing in action. But in any case, we have a country that we have to, and as Parliament, we have to protect, we have to manage, we have to, we have a oversight responsibility, and that we have to do what we have to do. Where it pertains to the rebuilding let's say the amount that you indicated, because you said the question that I asked was, were there any additional projects that were that government engaged since Hurricane Irma, and your answer was to that question, yes, but it was only specifically answered to the question, to the issue of the 8 million guilders. My question was, Madam Chair, and I'm asking this through you, my question was more of a general nature. So if the answer that yes, government engaged in projects since Hurricane Irma, and the one that you mentioned was the 8 million guilders for the roof repairs, I would assume. Were there any other, and if there are, what are they? The roof repair program and the food voucher program, Minister, is something that is necessary because of the fact that the country is devastated. We're still in that mode as a result of Hurricane Irma, and when government decides to allocate funds or discuss and make decisions on emergency funds, that process, and mind you, I'm not saying it shouldn't be, that process is lengthy because you have to get all the reports, all the advices, and make sure that all of the procedures are followed properly. But government can do that. The public, when they hear that, they are thinking, okay, government has approved 3 million, 5 million, 8 million to assist the public. I heard it on a Tuesday afternoon because we've heard this a month ago, and up until today, I can't receive any help, any assistance from that which government has promised. So the reality that is out there, and I'm saying this because of the experience that I've had, and I'm sure other my colleagues also, we are called on a daily basis by individuals, and to this self, I met a family of an 84-year-old individual that is struggling with dementia and doesn't have a roof over their head. Completely gone. A house that was probably built in the 60s, lived there all his life from a young man, but today he doesn't have an income. And you indicated just now that there's a threshold for those that would qualify, but then when you realize, or when you look at the reality that these people are living in, they don't have time to wait on that whole procedure. They don't have time because their roof went 3 months ago and the roof is still gone. They don't have the resources to do the repairs, and based on the criteria, 4,000 guilders, if you're on pension, then you come into consideration. They don't have that kind of time for that consideration, and it hurts me to know that these individuals doesn't have anywhere else to go but to their government or to their leaders. There's another old couple, 95-year-old lady, 88-year-old gentleman, same scenario. They might have had an income from rental, but if everything is devastated and everything is destroyed, where do they go? What do they do? In this again, a 67-year-old gentleman that worked in a casino for years, his roof is destroyed. What is it that he can do? And what I'm hearing is, we've had a meeting, we've made a decision, we've allocated 6 million, 8 million, 5 million, 3 million, we've allocated millions, but these people are still without hope for their issues. So, I think government needs to be able to instead of plan, execute, because all we've been hearing now since since the hurricane is, we're planning to do this, we're planning to do that, while the pet projects that the same ministers have are being executed, you know?